So hi DSC community, Vishesh Tripathi this side from the Android team. As coming to the end of the playlist of the Jetpack Compose, this is one of the episode of the projects that we would be building on Jetpack Compose based on the Android functions that we have been provided. So as you can see, the emulator that must be visible to you. So this is the project that you would be completing at the end of this video, and you would get the GitHub link in the description section. And if I just show you what this project does, I would just type 15 seconds for now, and I would just start the timer. So as you can see, the timer automatically fetches all the information that we have given to it in the edit text section, and it would complete the 15 seconds time by completing the whole arc and covering the green part to red part. So yeah, as you can see, it has ended. So this would be aim to complete at the end of this video. So as you can see, I have just created a one project, and I would be explaining you the whole code. I won't be writing the code because it would take a lot of time. And so coming to the part, you must be able to see that I have defined the utils and UI.theme part here. So if you want, you can just take up the sample of the Android Compose that is available on GitHub, or you can make your own project and then apply all that here. So as you can see, I have defined 4 things here that are Android, shape, theme, and type. So all have their equal contribution to the whole project. The typography that I have applied here, you can just take any other default typography you want, the default weight or font family you want. Similarly with the theme, I have defined I guess 2 themes here, that is the dark theme, the material theme. It's totally on your choice, because when you come to the front end part in Android development, you would just get to know that coding is not the major issue that you would be facing while building an application. Getting an idea and working on that to create a useful solution is what matters in Android development, and it's really hard but definitely not impossible. So here I have defined the shapes, the small, medium and large, and then the color, the variable colors that Kotlin Jetpack Compose allow you to directly define in the Kotlin files. And after I have done with that, I would just explain you the 3 files I have created. The whole application is based on these 3 files. So coming to the main file, the time utils, here I haven't defined anything big. I just have defined the basic mathematical time values that work in our daily life, that the seconds are the value that I have taken into modulo 16, and similarly the minutes and then hours. So this is not a issue if you are familiar with basic mathematical and time constraints. So coming to the next part, the time view model.kotlin. So this file basically doesn't contain any much main functions, but yeah, it defines all the functions that we would be using in the main activity Kotlin file. So coming here, as you can see, I've imported a lot of modules here. The compose, runtime, set value, mutable state, animated state, and we would be using a lot of them. So coming to the part here, you can see that I have just defined some basic science stuff here, that what a circle consists of is 360 degree, 360 f I have defined, and at every 90 degree you would be turning like this, and all that. Every time the time left is given, you would be the application would be going to the backend part, and it would be seeing like that. Okay, so 3 out of 360, I would be taking the 1f part from here, and then I would be going to that part and cover that part, sweep that part, and come to the next part. So from here you can see that the button enabled is it would be enabled only when the total time is greater than 0, and this basically consists of all the stuff we have defined here, that the status would be started or the status would be paused if the total time is greater than 0 and the second condition is satisfied. Then only the stop button would be enabled, and every time you enable the stop button, the whole process would get stopped. And similarly here you can see the edit text value, that if the length is greater than this, we would be replacing the sweep area and the blank area by the number of the substring that we have already given. For example, every time the a whole process is complete, it would automatically get replaced. So, and going to the hint edit text part, you must be getting an idea that the time test is started or paused. And similarly here, at the start you would be, the time total is 0, you would be not going through any animation. After the start you would be going through animation, and every time the animation gets completed, it would get again to the starter project part. Similarly here, the pause one, that every time you pause, the animation would also get paused. Every time you resume, the animation would also get resumed, and the status would also get started. Every time you stop, the animation would get cancelled at that time. Means the whole animation would freeze at that time and then get cancelled. And every time you complete, animation is also completed, you don't need to define that, and the status of the timer would also be completed. As you can see here, we have defined that not started, it would be started, pause, and resumed. And the animation, as from here you must getting the part that animation is playing a very big role when it comes to Compose, because Compose is all about making the application looks more cool and more beautiful with the help of Jetpack's libraries that have been enabled through the Kotlin APIs. Yeah. So coming to the main file, which is the main activity.kotlin file. So in this file you must be able to see that I would just show you the application once again. Okay. Yeah, I guess the application isn't visible right now. I would just show it at the end. Okay. So when you must have seen the application, you must have seen there are 4 things that we have to follow. The whole arc part, that is consisting of when the time would go from 360 to 90, then 90, then 90, and again it would be followed on. And the second part is where the edit text part, that we would be taking an input from the user, and then that part would be taken as the total completion part. For example, I had given the input as 15, so it would go fetch into the data, and they would that application would automatically take it and get the idea that okay, 15 seconds, now I would just maintain the animation part as 15 seconds. Okay. And after that, the buttons that have been the 2 major buttons, the start button and the stop button, which plays a very big role because they are the reason everything is started. And the complete that would be displayed after the whole process is complete. Okay, so from here you must be able to see that I have destroyed part, that every time the application get destroyed, that this function is called, the animation would get cancelled. And here I've defined my theme as my app. You can keep this name as any name you want. You can keep it as time down counter or anything, just like I put my name of the application as time down counter. So here you can see that when you come here, you can see that the alignment that I have arranged here is arrangement.center and the alignment.center horizontal. So you can do experiment in this every time you run the app, means just do experiments and you will get a very better idea of how this works. Coming to the color part, I have defined the inbuilt material UI, the colors.background. So here you can see that the background colors appears behind the scrollable content. So the content which is scrollable means we are not scrolling any content here, but whenever you scroll, if you create a very big application or particular page, you would realize this. And in the row there would be 2 buttons, the start button and the stop button. So the whole application can be seen through here. And coming to the next part, the view model part, you must be able to see that here I have defined how the part would be looking. The primary color that I have defined is the most displayed color primary across the whole app screen components. So coming to the part, so now comes the progress circle part, the arc that we have defined, that the animation would be happening there, that the red part would be covering the green part. So here you can see I have put that size as my own choice. You can just put it as according to yourself as you feel. And on draw you can see that the circle is going to be red. The strokes is going to be the pixel path effect dot dash effect, that you can see the float array. It would be going from 3dp to 3dp to a pixel, means it would be I have decided it as own choice. You can even do that as 4dp to 4dp, but 100 divided by 399, you can get an idea from that. And now coming to the draw arc part, which is going to be here. So here you can see that every time my is going to be minus 90f. The sweep angle would be progressing the sweep angle, the function that I have defined here, the progress sweep angle. You can see the public final progress sweep that we have defined, and the user center is going to be false, and the color would go green, means the default color is green, and every time the draw circle is drawn from here, you can see it would get red color. It's like, you know, the time is ending, so red is recognized as the danger part. And the text would be of the view model dot time left value, means the time which is left would be displayed as the text part, means this much time is left, as you must be seeing in the between that time format utils from here, that it would be displayed in the middle of the application. And you can show you here. So here you can see the text which is displayed here. We had covered the center circle, that it would be going from green to red every time you run the application, either it's 1 second or 2 seconds. So the application won't run on 0, because you must have seen in the backend part that we have defined that it would run only when it's greater than 0. So we have defined the circle, we have given the time constant in the middle, we would be going to the edit text. So the edit text system would be working like this. When I go here and I would be going to the edit text part, here I have defined a view model, the hint text we would be taking. So the label we would be giving is countdown seconds. The means we are giving it as a label on that edit text, that yes, if a user doesn't know what to put here, he or she can get that idea from there. And we would be onboarding the keyboard, and the user can enter the number. So edit text is used for taking the input from user. So coming to the next part, the start button part. So in here you must be getting an idea that the width and the padding we have defined as 150 and 16. You can change it as 140, 13, as per your choice. It's totally on your innovation how you want to. You can even change the theme, the style, color which have been used here. So from till here you must be getting an idea that Compose works like a tree structure, which I have been telling you from the first video itself, that it works like a structure. Every time we define Compose, this private class, that it would be going from here, a particular background section, then the arc section, then the number that we have defined, and then the button part and the secondary button part. So the start button is here. Every time you click it, the model would start. The click start button function that we have enabled in the backend section of timer view model. And coming to the second button, the stop button, every time you click it, the text displayed here is stop, so that end user gets the idea that yes, this button is used for stopping the action which is going on. And it also fetches the data, the backend part that we have defined, the click stop button. And at the end you can just check whichever theme you want to apply. See, I have created two themes here, the dark preview and the light preview. Mostly people are fan of dark, definitely, but I have used the light preview right now here. So you just run the application and the application would work as I have shown you here. And the UI theme part is the most important part, because you define almost everything of the application's UI here. The color part, the material theme you would be using, the typography you would be using, the shape of the application of a particular widget is defined here. So it's important that you create a very good UI theme if you are going for a big application or even a small one. So this was it for this video. I hope you must have got an idea that how this application is running, the backend part, the front end part, just in 3 pages of Kotlin, no XML used, no any other language used, or any fetching has been done. The whole application is complete. So you can just find the GitHub project link in the description, and from there you can just install this and do experiments with it and get an idea of what it is. So we would be building another project in another video. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Happy coding.